For Benjamin Knight Fuchs live on a Monday evening, Ben.
Happy belated Father's Day to you, Liam.
Happy belated Father's Day. I had a great Father's Day. How about you?
I had a nice, peaceful, relaxing Father's and Grandfather's Day because I have a little grandchild, and we got to hang out. And I saw, when we talked about doing our weekly video or LinkedIn cast, whatever they call it, I thought given the Father's Day holiday, is it a holiday? It's Father's Day.
Yeah.
And given the Father's Day holiday, I thought we would talk about an interesting subject that I get approached with pretty much at least once or twice a week. And that is low T.
Low T, baby.
Low testosterone.
A lot about low T. Yes.
Low testosterone. And, one of the scary things about getting older for a guy is losing that manly edge that you have. And to compound age-related drops in testosterone, we have cultural predilections and cultural phenomena that exacerbate the problem, most especially the food we eat. Now, of course, if somebody is dealing with andropause, which is the male version of menopause, and low testosterone, it makes sense that you'd go see a physician, maybe get hormone replacement therapy. But it really is not such a great idea to try to supplement with a hormone that's as fundamental as testosterone. Much more appropriate would be to correct biochemical imbalances that lead to low testosterone. I'm not saying that it's never appropriate to use hormone replacement therapy for testosterone replacement. Sometimes you can get some benefits, but really given the toxicity that can be associated with high levels of testosterone and the fact that when you take testosterone exogenously, either in pellet or in cream form or injectable form, your body loses the ability to control the amount of testosterone that's secreted in the bloodstream. There's all these control factors that determine how much testosterone will be released and how much testosterone will be active in the blood itself. And when you take testosterone or really any hormone pharmacologically, you bypass or override the body's control or regulatory mechanisms for keeping testosterone at just the right level. Not that it's not appropriate sometimes, but given the biochemical breakdowns and pathologies that are associated with many cases of low T, in addition to age-related low T, and we'll talk about those here in a second, my personal belief is that it's better to control the lifestyle factors that lead to low testosterone levels, which, by the way, affect 30% of men between the ages of 40 and 70. 1 out of 3 men between the ages of 40 and 70 is going to have low levels of testosterone. That is not always related to low age or to accelerated aging. You can be 40 years old and start to manifest the symptoms of low testosterone, which involve poor muscle development, fatigue and weakness, problems sleeping, or conversely, depression and fatigue issues, just not feeling manly and strong and virile. All of these kinds of things that are associated with low T can be very troubling, especially the sexual dysfunction, especially erectile dysfunction and a lack of sexual libido, lack of sexual desire. So what do you do if you're dealing with low T? Well, first of all, Mr. Liam, we have our triangle of disease. You always want to approach health challenges, whether they're autoimmune issues or skin issues or heart disease or low T issues, hormone issues, by approaching the triangle of disease first. So in the case of low T, it comes as no surprise. The first point in the triangle of disease is the digestive system, and toxicity that leaks into the bloodstream through a leaky gut causes an increase in inflammatory factors. You can get that first study up if you don't mind, Lee or Liam. Causes an increase in inflammatory factors, specifically cytokines, that are associated with low testosterone levels. Inflammation to leaky gut, SIBO, endotoxins, that is bacterial particles that get into the blood, in addition to bacterial secretions like aldehydes and histamine, can all upregulate, enhance, or increase inflammatory factors in the blood, and that will cause testosterone levels to drop. So point number one, the triangle of disease, work with digestive health. Use probiotics. Use digestive enzymes and apple cider vinegar with your meals. Use bile salts. So these are all strategies for the digestive system, not specifically for low testosterone levels, and they will improve overall digestive function. They'll improve the symptoms of leaky gut and inflammatory factors. They'll reduce inflammatory factors in the blood, and this will improve testosterone secretion as well as testosterone functioning. The second point on the triangle disease is the blood sugar system, and this is really the core of our low T issues, in my opinion. Now, metabolic syndrome is the technical name for the health challenges, the syndrome or the constellation of health challenges that are associated with blood sugar problems, hyperinsulinemia, too much insulin, and hypo and hyperglycemia, too much and too little blood sugar. It's basically, metabolic syndrome is basically a blood sugar issue. Again, it should come as no surprise that metabolic syndrome is also associated with low testosterone levels. This is an article on the dietary patterns of men in Taiwan that showed that men with higher men who ate more fried processed foods were associated or had lower testosterone levels. That's not exactly the second point in the triangle disease, but it shows you the relationship between what we're eating and low testosterone levels. Metabolic syndrome, high insulin, high blood sugar are both associated with a lot of things that we attribute to low testosterone. Elevated blood sugar and elevated insulin are associated with obesity. And I'm going to tell you about an obesity link to testosterone, but to problems with testosterone. But obesity can cause a drop in testosterone levels. And then also obesity, body fat is a secretory organ of sorts. Your body fat is actually an organ of sorts or a gland of sorts that produces estrogen. So body fat and obesity are not only associated with low testosterone, but they're also associated with elevated estrogen in men. And this is a 1-2 punch that will really kill masculinity, elevated estrogen and a drop of testosterone, following obesity, following metabolic syndrome and hyperinsulinemia and elevated blood sugar. And then there's the third point on the triangle disease, which is the stress hormone system, cortisol specifically. And no surprise, elevated cortisol is also linked to low testosterone levels. Elevated cortisol will eventually cause the thyroid to slow down, leading to hypothyroidism, which also is associated with low T. All of which is to say, if you have low testosterone, low levels of testosterone, if you feel like you're don't have the same strength that you had when you're younger, the same muscle development, the same sexual performance, the same drive, and the same ambition, the chances are pretty good you're dealing with either low T by itself or a combination of low T and elevated estrogen. So what do? First of all, always the triangle disease. You work on digestive health. As we said previously, you use nutrients that can help support digestive function, things like probiotics. I love Youngevity's I-26 hyperimmune egg, which kills excess bacteria in the small intestine in a condition called SIBO, which can also improve leaky gut and lead to a decrease in inflammatory factors and improve testosterone secretion as well as testosterone function. Probably the most important thing you could do is go ketogenic, go low calorie, go low carb, use nutrients that are important for blood sugar control, Youngevity, Sweet Ease, the B complex, especially niacin, vitamin B3, and thiamine, vitamin B1, both of which can be helpful for helping with metabolic syndrome, helping with blood sugar control, as well as helping with testosterone secretion and testosterone functionality. So treat yourself like a diabetic, basically. Lose those pounds. When you lose the weight, not only will you be reducing inflammatory factors, which can interfere with testosterone function, but you'll also be lowering your estrogen. I can't say this more firmly enough. Body fat is a source of estrogen. So the more body fat you're carrying, particularly belly fat, the more feminized you're going to be if you're a man. And the more estrogenic you're going to be if you're a woman, which can lead to a whole host of other problems. High estrogen levels in women, or so-called estrogen dominance, is a whole nother health issue. But in men, body fat is associated with estrogen, which is associated with a lack of testosterone or imbalance in testosterone, and a loss of manliness or manly functions, including male sexual performance. Losing that weight, people, losing that weight, guys, especially around the belly, can improve your masculinity, can improve your strength. I call this the Santa Claus effect, by the way. As men get older, they get fat and jolly, like Santa Claus. And that's a function of carrying body fat and body fat producing estrogen, and estrogen increasing body fat, estrogen increasing inflammation, and estrogen throwing the male-female hormone male-female hormone system out of balance. In other words, estrogen and testosterone have a sort of balance, and when you're carrying more body fat, your estrogen effects will transcend testosterone's effects. So losing body fat is important. In fact, lifting weights, building muscle can be a great strategy for improving testosterone. The more muscle mass you have, the more testosterone your body will be secreting. So muscle mass is also important. Of course, weightlifting and resistance training is the best way to build muscle. And building muscle has a tendency to help you lose weight, or lose body fat, I should say. Not lose weight, but lose body fat. So get into the gym. And while you're working out, make sure you're using supplementation. Things like creatine can help with testosterone. Magnesium can help with testosterone. Vitamin D can help with testosterone. You can get your vitamin D from the sun, or you can get your vitamin D from supplements. Longevity has a great product called Zero Test, which has a lot of nutritional supplements, nutrients, micronutrients that are helpful for male hormones, including vitamin B6 and some herbs as well, like ashwagandha and ginseng, fenugreek, all have pro-testosterone or pro-androgen effects. So you can use herbs, or you can use your Zero Test from Longevity if you want to go the longevity, or you want to go the formula route rather than using individual nutrients. Of course, vitamin D from the sun, laying out in the sun, is a great way to boost vitamin D, which can also help testosterone. And then lowering cortisol and using adrenal nutrients. Lowering cortisol is a function of reducing inflammation. And if you stabilize your blood sugar and you deal with your metabolic syndrome, that's going to naturally lower your cortisol. If you work on your digestive health, that too will naturally help you lower your cortisol. And using nutrients specifically for the adrenal glands. One of my favorite pro-testosterone, testosterone enhancing hormones, if you will, it is a hormone, or it's a more of a pro hormone in the sense it gets turned into other hormones, is DHEA. And I believe DHEA may be the quintessential anti-aging pro-testosterone hormone supplement that you can take. It's much gentler than straight testosterone. It gets converted into testosterone. And DHEA on its own has great benefits. And as we age, our DHEA levels naturally drop. DHEA, dihydroepiandrosterone, for those of you who are biochemists out there, is associated with improved immunity. And as we age and our DHEA levels drop, our immune system also becomes compromised. DHEA is also associated with more muscle development, an increase in male sexual characteristics, improvement in sexual function, and also improvement in blood sugar control, as well as improvement in testosterone. And DHEA is readily available. You don't want to take too much DHEA because you can end up with too much male hormone effects, including things like male pattern baldness or hair loss, oily skin and acne, prostate issues. These are all problems associated with too much DHEA and too much testosterone. Actually, not even too much testosterone, but too much of a metabolite of testosterone that's called DHT. And I don't want to digress too much, but just know that DHT is like super testosterone, and elevated DHT is really linked to a lot of the problems that people blame plain testosterone for. Nonetheless, if you take too much DHEA, you may end up with too much DHT or too much testosterone, and that can lead to some of the more unpleasant signs of elevated testosterone levels, including hair problems, hair loss problems, prostate problems, and skin problems. You want maybe about, I call physiologic doses of DHEA, 5 to 10 milligrams a day of DHEA. If you're bodybuilding or weightlifting, you might want to take a little more. If you're an athlete, you might want to take a little more DHEA. Probably the most important mineral for dealing with testosterone issues is zinc. And I often use zinc for helping kids deal with acne. Zinc is important for blood sugar control as well as for acne. And it also helps keep testosterone levels stable. Also, selenium has some benefits for folks who are dealing with testosterone issues. Iodine is always important for all of the glands, including the adrenal glands and the sexual glands. So iodine supplementation is a good idea. I like a supplement called iodoral, IODORAL, and you probably need a lot more iodine than you think you do. The RDA recommended daily allowance of iodine is based on goiter. Goiter is a swelling in the thyroid, and physicians and medical folks will use swelling in the thyroid as an indicator for lack of iodine. The thyroid swells in an attempt to grab more iodine out of the bloodstream, but really you can have deficiencies in iodine and have deficiencies showing up as poor health in the various glands of the body, including the adrenal glands, as well as the thyroid, and for women in the breast and the reproductive glands, even before you have a goiter. So you probably need a little bit more iodine than the RDA, and iodoral will give you 12.5 milligrams of iodine per pill. Dr. David Brownstein is very famous for saying that you need 12.5 milligrams to 25 milligrams of iodine a day, which is way more than the recommended daily allowance. So zinc, selenium, iodine, all important for the adrenal glands. Vitamin C is very important for the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands have more vitamin C pretty much than any other part of the body, I believe. I'm pretty sure there's more vitamin C in the adrenal glands than any other part of the body. Vitamin C is the anti-stress vitamin. You know, vitamin C has got so many different roles to play in the body, but it's really an anti-stress vitamin. It helps the body deal with stressors, and this is why it's found in the adrenal glands. It's also involved in the production of hormones. And like iodine, you probably need a lot more vitamin C than the recommended daily allowance. One of the reasons I love Youngevity's Beyond Tangy Tangerine so much is because you get a big old dose of vitamin C in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. I think there's like 1,000 milligrams per scoop of Beyond Tangy Tangerine, something along those lines. So vitamin C is very important for the adrenal glands in terms of nutrients. Keeping your sugar down, as I said, using sugar control, blood sugar control nutrients like chromium and vanadium in the sweeties, and alpha lipoic acid, and magnesium and zinc. And these are all wonderful nutrients. The B complex, B1 and B3, as we mentioned, can also be helpful for keeping blood sugar under control, and also have a powerful role to play in hormonal health and testosterone health. And last but not least, there's a wonderful mineral called boron, which is great for all hormone issues, particularly testosterone and also estrogen. Boron is not one of those minerals that you hear a lot about, but supplementing with boron might not be a bad idea for folks who are worried about men who are worried about andropause, or women who are worried about low estrogen as they get older. And then if you want to go the hormonal route, you can use testosterone. Probably the best way to use testosterone hormonally, medically and pharmacologically, is in a cream versus injection or pellets, because in the cream, your body gets a sustained, slow release of testosterone into the bloodstream. When you get a pellet or when you get injection, your blood levels of testosterone tend to spike and then drop. With the cream, you get a nice, slow, sustained release of testosterone. And that's usually the best way to introduce hormones into your circulation, is in a slow release fashion. So working out, losing the weight, working on blood sugar control, taking care of your digestive health, staying away from processed foods and fried foods, at high calorie foods, reducing your calories, going ketogenic, using adrenal support nutrients, relaxing the body. These are all wonderful strategies for helping stabilize and increase testosterone levels. And I would venture to say that 30%, the 30% of people who are, of men who are dealing with low testosterone issues, a lot of them are dealing with digestive health issues, metabolic syndrome or blood sugar control issues, and cortisol issues, as well as perhaps hypothyroidism, more than just they're not making testosterone. So working on the causes of the drop of testosterone, the metabolic causes of testosterone reduction, is probably a lot safer, a lot gentler, and a lot more effective a strategy than just to try to go the pharmacological route with creams or injection or pellets.
All right. That was awesome, Ben. I have that are like, my doctors recommend me, doctors recommended me to take estrogen. I've got male friends, doctors recommended me to take, testosterone injections. And so what I'm hearing you say, which is so great, DHEA,
DHEA
right?
is great. Yes.
For 5 to 10 milligrams. And then, of course, you're supporting yourself with minerals, zinc, selenium, iodine. But if you want to go sort of replace the injection, tea cream.
Yeah, if you want to go the pharmacological route, go with testosterone cream. And not most, but a lot of pharmacies and doctors, when they make testosterone cream, including myself, will use DHEA in the cream. So you'll get a combination of testosterone with DHEA, because they both have really cool benefits. And as I say, when you're doing a cream, you get the nice sustained release, slow release of the hormones into the bloodstream.
Application.
Transdermal is the way to go. And I've been studying
So,
transdermal chemistry for many, many
a-
years.
and just one last thing to sort of wrap this whole thing up. If we're
Yes.
not taking care of the triangle of disease, right? We're not paying
Yes.
attention to blood sugar. We're not paying attention to the digestive system. We're not paying attention to the adrenal
Thyroid.
thyroid complex. We're just throwing money away, right? If we're taking these supplements and
Yes. You're not getting the most bang for your buck with your supplements, and you're not maximizing the benefits that you're going to get from the supplements or from pharmacological intervention. This is why the triangle is so important, because none of your other interventions, whether they're pharmacological interventions or nutritional interventions, are going to work maximally optimally if you still have issues with absorption at the level of the intestine, or leaky gut where toxicities are getting into the bloodstream. If you have metabolic syndrome, that is issues with your blood sugar system and with your insulin. And if you're dealing with hypercortisol, too much stress. And by the way, I forgot to mention one thing. Liver health is also very important for testosterone. And we know that the number one cause of liver disease, aside from just flat out poisoning with alcohol, is metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome and liver disease go hand in hand. Yet another way that metabolic syndrome impacts testosterone health.
And so if somebody wants to get, because I'm really interested in this tea cream. It sounds
Somebody wants
like
to get, you need a prescription.
need a prescription.
You
Okay.
need a prescription for it. So you got to go see a doc, and they do like to check your levels before they give it to you, and then check your levels periodically. You know, we've been talking about low T, but really high T can be a problem as well, especially for guys who have prostate problems. And I don't want to digress too much. Maybe we can do it on another video, but it's really not so much high T as it's high super T. And that's this
DHT is super.
That's that DHT molecule.
T,
That's the bad guy when it comes to a lot of these problems that are associated with too much testosterone. And don't forget to get your butt in the gym. Do some weightlifting.
Yes.
That's a great way to support and increase testosterone levels.
Awesome. Well, this was fantastic, Ben. If you want to learn more on all the many platforms that we're streaming to, just leave your questions and comments, and we'll definitely get back to you either by email or use your questions for our next broadcast.
Yeah, that's great. You know what? Why don't we just do this? Why don't we say this, Liam? We'll give a Beyond Tangy Tangerine, a jug of Beyond Tangy Tangerine, free jug of Beyond Tangy Tangerine if we use your question.
There we go. You heard that right.
You have a question for us, because that way, that we want to get you guys engaged in the program. If you write into info@liamgallegos, is that good? Yep.
Info@liamgallegos.com. Gallegos.com. Thank you, Ben. Yes. Info@liamgallegos.com. And
Gallegos. Liam, Liam, Gallegos. Info@liamgallegos.com. If you send us a question, we use your question on our program, we'll send you out a free jug of Beyond Tangy Tangerine.
And this is the stuff, man. This is the
real
deal.
Stuff. I love that stuff. Where's my BTT? I drink it like this. You see that? I don't know if you can see that.
There you go.
I put it in a water bottle and I just drink it down all day and then refill. I do about 2 or 3 of these bottles every day.
And it has all the 90 essentials.
90 essentials. It's tasty. They go right to work. I know Longevity has the tablets too, and they're a little more convenient. The tablets are, but for flexibility, where you can get more or less, nothing beats the powder.
And bioavailability too, right? Much more absorbable.
Because it's a liquid. I mean, if you took the tablets and liquefied them, it would be the same. But because the BTT is the powder, you have to drink it. The liquid format is maximally absorbable. When it comes to absorption, liquids are the best next to IV and actually intranasal and actually suppository. Those are the 3 best ways to get absorption into the blood, is right directly into the blood, or intranasally, or suppository, and something sublingually. But other than those, drinking your nutrition is the best way to maximize absorption.
Outstanding. All right, Ben. Well, happy belated Father's Day to you and to everyone watching. We'll see you next week.
Okay, buddy.
All right.
Bye.
Take care, everybody. Bye.